When working with a new client, one of my favorite things to do is work with them on branding, not the logo, not the colors, although that's really fun and I do enjoy that. Branding is more about their identity, their values, their promise, their personality. Those are the things that I really like to take a deep dive into because those things can make a difference for your business. Because when you have clearly defined who you are as a business owner, who you are as a business, then you can express that better. When you know your target market and your guest avatar, your USP, you can express the things that make you better. So this episode is going to be about brand values and brand promise and brand mission, 3 aspects of vacation rental branding that are crucial to understand. So stick around. I think it's going to be eye-opening for you. Hey there, you're listening to the Savvy Host Podcast. If you're a vacation rental host struggling with branding, marketing, automations, and all the things, then you're in the right place. I'm Jodi Bourne, a vacation rental coach, marketing strategist, and a guest at more than 50 vacation rentals and counting. And I'm excited to open the door to my office, share practical tips, tools, and strategies that will help you differentiate your property, attract more bookings, and create raving fans. So if you're ready to become a savvy host, let's hang out. A lot of people, when I work with new hosts or hosts that have been working in the industry for a while, when I ask them about their brand, they tell me about their logo. They show me their logo. And it is a huge across all industries. It's a huge mistake to think that your brand is just your logo. It's just the icon that you put at the top of your website or whatever you put on your koozies. Your brand, the whole purpose of the logo of your brand is to actually for people to associate that emblem, those colors, that theme with what you stand for. Some people call it your DNA, your brand DNA. And what you stand for is super important. It's a promise to not only your future guests and your current guests, but also your neighbors, your community members, your employees, anybody that comes into contact with your brand promise and your brand values and your brand personality are all really key aspects of creating what you want to be known for. So in today's episode, I'm just going to be talking about values and promise. There's so much more to branding, and I'm sure I will be bringing up more about branding in future episodes. But for me, brand values and brand promise and also brand story are the most important parts of this brand identity that's not your visual brand identity. What are brand values? They're your values. If you have a business that is yours, then you get to decide your brand values. You get to decide what's important to you and how you present that to the world. For example, if you are a brand that cares about the environment, maybe you personally really care about the environment, and because of that, you use environmentally sensitive cleaning products, or you use energy efficient lighting and appliances. Maybe you want to educate your guests about this mission, so you share information within your property about what you're doing. That is a brand value. You care about the environment. You may care about animal conservation. I have worked with some clients who donate to different organizations, different animal welfare organizations that are near them. I've worked with clients who donate to the Highway Cleanup Fund, or they may have a beach cleanup program that they are sponsors of. I've worked with clients who value community and they value family. So they donate and they talk about, as part of their messaging, they talk about their value of community and family and children. And so they share their love and mission about school projects and educational programs. It doesn't necessarily have to be, we give money to this organization, or this is how we show that is a value. It can also just be about putting your heart into that and it being part of what you share in your social media and in your blogs, on your website, and in the way you present yourself within the community. And some people, it's much more natural than others. Some people, their values are important, and especially if you haven't had your own business before, you may not understand how this is important. Who cares that I believe in this or whatever? But right now, in today's day and age, key differentiator that people are looking for in order to connect with a business is that they believe in the causes that they believe in, or they believe in the things that they believe in. They hold something dear. The people that you want to connect with are going to appreciate that. The values that you hold dear can also be projected in how you represent those values with your property and your guest experience. If you value safety and you put that on your website, that you value cleanliness and safety for families, how do you showcase that? Are you showing people how your cleaning staff works? Are you sharing your cleaning checklist? Are you showcasing some of the safety precautions that you've taken to show people that you care about safety? Maybe you care about nature and privacy and rejuvenation. So you have a nice outdoor area, a sitting area. You provide a space for your guests that gives them the ability to enjoy the outdoors. On my website, I have an about page, and on my about page, I list some of my values. I list the fact that I don't tell people lies about how easy it's going to be once they work with me to book direct or to get more bookings. I don't lie to my clients or anybody about how easy that is. I am funny and I teach with humor and heart and caring. I care about your business, and that's one of my brand values. You should have brand values. You should put those brand values on your website. You should use those brand values in your marketing. It can be an explicit statement of, this is our brand values and this is how we do this or share this. I definitely encourage you to put your brand values, at least a list of a few of them, a couple of bullet points on your about page, because that's really important for people to see. But when you're sharing it in your marketing, you don't necessarily have to come right out and say, this is my brand values. You can Google search, and I'll put a link in the show notes to a Google search of some ideas for brand values that might spark your thoughts on this. But I just want you to express to you how important it is to have these, because I want you to think about, when you make your own buying decisions, do you work with brands and work with companies who believe the way that you believe? If you don't, then that's a rarity. Most people at least have some affinity for brands that have the same or similar values, or that have values that speak to them personally in some way, that create that connection. Another important part of your brand is your brand promise. The brand promise is an actual statement about your customer. It tells your customers what they can expect from you, your commitment to quality, your commitment to comfort, your commitment to providing great hospitality, your commitment to sharing a wonderful and relaxing space. How you provide that commitment is up to you. You can list examples of that. So maybe your commitment is that you provide a relaxing experience. And if you had a guest that stayed and something happened, road construction or noise or something interrupted their relaxing experience, then how do you serve them with your promise? What do you do to make that better? And if you don't do anything, then that's not your brand promise. If your brand promise is cleanliness and somebody comes to your property and it's gross, or the house cleaning staff didn't do their due diligence for some reason, something happened, who knows what it is. But if the guest has a valid complaint about cleanliness and your brand promise is, we are going to be clean and safe, then you need to follow up with that by taking action. What do you do when something crosses that barrier, crosses that line? Your brand promise is something that should definitely live on your website. Again, it's on the about page of your website. You can communicate very clearly that we promise our guests this experience. We promise our community that we care about them. We promise our employees that we stand for them. One of my brand promises to my employees is that I want them to put their families first. I typically work with mothers who have a commitment to their children. I was a mother, or am a mother, and I had a huge commitment to my children, and I had to quit several jobs because they didn't allow me to be committed to my children in some way. I was a single mom and my kids would get sick or things happen. I had to quit jobs, multiple jobs in my past, because I loved my kids. So when I started my business, that was one of my promises to myself and to everybody that I hire, that you can put your family first. You can let me know. I will work with you And I've had multiple people that have had to take off because they had to take care of children or family or whatever. Not only create that brand promise, but think in your mind, how do you stand for that promise? What does it mean to you? And how do you display that in the actions that you're taking? Now, your mission statement is more than your brand promise. Brand promise is reflected to your customers, to your employees. Your mission statement is more internal. It's more about what do you offer and why, and this can help guide you in the decisions that you're making for yourself and for your own business. Your mission statement isn't necessarily a promise to your guests. It's more of a promise to you. It helps keep you accountable to yourself as to how you serve. So difference between mission statement and promise statement. One is outwardly facing. Mission statement is more inwardly facing to you. It is more about how you run your business internally and what your plans are for future growth, etc. And then again, just to summarize, brand values, those are the things that your business stands for. For an action item, sit down and think of some brand values. You probably already have some. If you have them on your website, that's great, but then think about how you portray those and how you market those. One thing that I've noticed sometimes, several of my clients in the past or people that I've worked with, they give like a free rental night of their property or 2 nights for different organizations as raffle prizes or whatever. And they don't use that as marketing because they feel uncomfortable about that. You should not feel uncomfortable about something that comes naturally to you. If you naturally give up 2 nights at your vacation rental every year for your local band to raffle off as a prize, then your logo, your website should be on the raffle flyer. And you need to put that on your website. You need to share that in your own marketing. Not only does it let your guests know and the community know that you are sharing your business with other people for free, but it also reminds your guests to book with you. It reminds your community members that they may want to tell other people about your property because you care about the community so much. You're giving up 2 free nights. So there's a lot of reasons to market that you're doing these things. Not the only reason, but good reasons. Research what some great ideas, examples for brand values. I'll have some links on the show notes. And let me know if you have figured out some great brand values or you already have brand values that you stand for. Shoot me a DM on Instagram or send me an email. My Instagram is @HeyJodiBourne, and I'll have that in the show notes with my email address as well. Also, I have a great blog post on my website. It's called The Ultimate Guide to Vacation Rental Branding. It talks about brand values and promise and all the things, personality, brand story. I'm going to be covering these in the podcast over the coming weeks. But if you want to read that and take a look, then it's there for you. And that as well will be in the show notes. I hope you enjoyed this episode and definitely let me know if you found it useful.